It's not going to be easy. It's going to be fucking hard because you're wrestling yourself. But once you finally get past yourself and get out of your own fucking way, then you'll really start to learn. And you'll see that you've...
I'm going to jump up here. Let's double chart this. ES and NQ side by side. Start on the higher time frames here. So here's what I'm looking for today. I'm looking, I was looking here at this 4 hour. We have this open imbalance here with relative equal lows here on the 4 hour chart. We did tap into this on ES. But looking at how price is behaving here early into the open, I'm kind of liking the idea that we could run for these levels of sell side liquidity here on the 4 hour chart. And then tap into this imbalance here. Given how we've behaved, we see the same 4 hour imbalance here on ES having been traded from. Not necessarily the strongest close here on this 4 hour candle. We have this 4 hour candle closing here in the next 20 minutes. So getting into the red folder news. And it looks like it's going to be, if things kind of stay the way that they are right now, looks like it might be a pretty weak 4 hour candle close, which to me, I think would signify lower prices, probably looking at the sell side level here at 647. Would be kind of my early bias going into just looking at this price, trying to find the draw on liquidity here. I do think overall, though, I mean, I am feeling pretty bullish overall, outside of potentially wanting to see this manipulation down. You can see price having swept sell side here on NASDAQ. This was a previous weekly low. And I believe we have, yeah. So I believe this had formed an SMT with ES, which it did. Which, yeah, I gotta change all these back. Classic. Classic, classic, classic. Save as. So we got SMT at these 4 hour lows here, between ES and NASDAQ. Again, we're looking at the 4 hour chart here. So overall, I am bullish with this price action. You can see, again, raid the low, crazy displacement, break a structure, market structure shift, whatever you like to call it, change in state of delivery. They all will work in this live chat. And this move down would be just that redistribution, to look to continue playing longs really through, I guess, low-hanging fruit would be this first external high here. So that is my bias here, kind of in the early going. That could change. I did feel like looking at price earlier this morning that we did not need necessarily to come down to here because, excuse me, because this 4 hour fair value gap had already been traded to by ES. We did get a little bit of manipulation as well with this low here. If you can see, it's a little subtle, but we do have an SMT divergence with these lows here. So we got SMT here, higher low on NQ versus a lower low there on ES that tapped into that 4 hour fair value gap. So it doesn't need to come here. Obviously, for our sake, just looking at the NASDAQ chart would be nice, but I would say, yeah, overall I am bullish. And I'm not, if I see a good opportunity to get long, I don't want to prevent myself from taking it if we end up not trading to 647, if that makes any sense. Looking at this 30-minute, as of right now, we're showing absolutely no respect to this imbalance. For now, we'll see how the candle closes. Check the 15. One other thing I would say that could have you feeling bearish here in the short term, if we toggle on these session kill zones. We've obviously not rated London low. We have rated Asia and London high. So you could have a draw for London low. You could have a draw for low from PM yesterday as well. Just kind of depends, but tapped into New York midnight here. We're wicking back up pretty strong here. Big wick. Turn these off. So yeah, if we see this continue to react and displace up, I'm definitely game for trying to hop on the long train here. But again, we got news in 15 minutes, boys. So it could be in our best interest to just sit on our hands until the news passes. Otherwise, you know, you're kind of in a situation where I feel like, let's go look at this 1 minute. I'm not going to say you couldn't get long, but a lot of SMT with these internal lows. Obviously, NQ having traded below them. ES, not quite so. So that's that. We'll hop back down here. I'll pull the 1 minute chart up here. I got an eye on these side by side charts here on my other monitor. So if we need to come back to that, we will. But yeah, man, that's kind of my thought process. I'll put a little poll in the chat here and see what you guys are feeling as far as a bias as well. Might as well feel what the tilt indicator is showing us, huh? So let me know how you guys are feeling in the chat. It's only the first week of January. Yes, the market has already improved significantly. We are in NFP week, so it's kind of an interesting timing for us. I know a lot of ICT traders, we take off the day before NFP on Thursday anyway. And this week we're forced to because we got the day of mourning for Jimmy Carter on Thursday this week. Day before NFP, so... But yeah, nonetheless, NFP protocol. So, I was on charts yesterday. Like I said, it was kind of frustrating because of price just opening. I mean, we manipulated prior to the open, and then at open we basically just slow grind higher. So I never really felt like there was any clean, amazing opportunities to capitalize on longs. Like I said, unless you were to take your entry prior to the open, that would have been about the only way, honestly. So yesterday wasn't amazing by any means, but, and by that I just mean it wasn't like super easy. It definitely was opportunity to catch some moves. Then we got the reversal in the PM session to the downside, but we'll pour longs, chat. But yeah, we're back to streaming. I didn't you know, definitely was debating waiting like another week to get back to streaming, but I was starting to kind of feel like a lazy piece of shit, to be honest. I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm just sitting here at my charts in the morning, like by myself. I'm like, dude, this is why I started streaming in the first place. So I'm like, I might as well just start streaming, and if, you know, if I don't see any trades, at least I can BS with you guys. We can have some fun. So we'll see how it goes. Definitely, obviously still the beginning part of the year, so I would be still pacing yourself, boys and girls. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? No need to try to get it all in one go. Holidays went well. Did not have like a shit ton of Christmases to go to this year. Only 2. But kind of felt like 3. My dad's birthday was right before Christmas. He turned 60, so we had like a big party for him or whatever as well. So, but it went good, man. I cannot complain. I cannot complain. Got fat. I'm pretty sure I haven't verified this with my scale in my bathroom, but I'm pretty certain I've put on like 10 pounds since Thanksgiving, if I'm being honest. So yeah, it's time to well, it's not quite time to start the cut, but should start thinking about starting the cut, if you know what I'm saying. We got to get back in the summer bod mode here soon. As soon as the Packers are eliminated from the playoffs, we're just going to go right into the gym and just drop a barbell right on our neck. Hunting was kind of a waste this year. It's actually the first time I've gone hunting and didn't get anything. I had an opportunity to shoot a lot of like small deer and does, female deer for those that don't know what that is. But just wasn't feeling it. I wanted to see a nice rack out in those woods if I was going to shoot something. I wanted to see a nice rack out in those woods. And I just didn't see anything that was worthy of shooting. So no deer here. I still got some venison left over from last year. So I should probably finish that up anyway. For this year's cut, however, when we do start it, I'm highly considering kind of trying out the strict, like a when I say strict, that could mean that could mean different things to different people, but think about trying the strict carnivore diet here for a while, going into the spring and summer months, boys and girls. Anybody in the chat on that regimen or nah? I gotta tell you, when I'm on the TikTok, for whatever reason, my algorithm has just been showing me a bunch of people on the carnivore diet. I just see people eating steaks on wooden cutting boards and eggs. And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, it actually looks kind of good. So I'm like, maybe I'll have to do that. But I mean, I know me, man. I love my carbs. I know like 2 days in, I'm gonna feel like I'm dying and want to just devour a fucking pizza. Or like a fat plate of spaghetti. But we can do it. So we see this 15-minute fair value gap here still holding true. We ended up wicking all the way back up into it and closing right around 50% of the gap. Seeing price continue to hold strong here. I mean, if we get this push up, I really like just low-hanging fruit target. Just go for this first external high. 896. You can call it 900 for a round number. So if we were to get something like that, I'd definitely be game for looking for a long. We got news here in 7 minutes, boys. Macro is starting. You were going to start up on that as well, Justin? Let's go. Look at us. So that's what you have to get used to it. I kind of did it like this late summer, early fall for a bit, but that's kind of where I was. Like after like 1 week, I was like, oh man, I'm really missing some carbs. So I wasn't like super strict with it, but I mean, high protein has kind of always been the forte. I think as long as protein is the main source of your food, you're doing better than most. You know, another thing I've been seeing on TikTok a lot in the last like 3 days is mouth taping. Does anybody in here mouth tape? Like when you sleep? I don't know. I don't have a camera in my room that videotapes me, but I don't think I snore. Maybe I do. I don't know. But it'd be nice to add a little bit of subtle little health hacks in the new year as well. Not just the basic diet and exercise, which we all know, drink water, blah, blah, blah. Maybe try a little extra, couple tips and tricks. Give in to all the creators on TikTok. Help them out. We'll give them some commissions. What do you guys think? Tyler's a Puppet 6. Good to see you back, man. How you doing? I want to say thank you. You helped me have my 2-fund account last year. I learned many things from your video. Appreciate it, mate. I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome. Try to cover that, but only 1 meal. I do intermittent fasting a lot. Yeah, I intermittent fast, kinda. I only eat 2 meals a day. I only eat lunch and dinner. I've never been a big breakfast person. Like, I just wake up in the morning, I'm not hungry at all. So I've never been a breakfast person. Technically, I'm not fasting because I do put a little creamer in my coffee. So technically, I'm breaking the fast, but listen, I can do black coffee. It's just, it's so much better and enjoyable when you have a little creamer in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, having my morning coffee on the charts while I get stopped out is one of my joys of the day. It's like, am I gonna take away my joy? I don't want to do that. It's one of the best. It's, you know what I mean? It's one of the simple joys of the day. So, could you recommend how much I must leave profits in my account to be safe? I withdraw some last week. Meta, if you're talking about Top Step, my rule of thumb advice, obviously it's, you can do whatever you want at the end of the day, but my rule of thumb advice has kind of always been, once you get above the buffer, which, for example, like on a 150K account is 4,500 profit, I would just say try to stay there. Like, I really wouldn't dig into that too much because then you just leave yourself very little to no room to obviously take some losses. So I would always say just take out anything that's above that buffer in excess. And, you know, you could leave some in there as well. Like if you, let's say you get the account to like 10K and you want to leave a couple thousand extra in there for even more buffer, you could do that as well. But yeah, I would always say like bare minimum, I feel like you want that buffer because it's not a big buffer anyway. You know what I mean? Like 3% is not a big buffer, which is why I guess you can't really think about it in terms of percentages. You really have to think of the actual dollar amount, which not everybody might not agree with that take, but if you think about it in percentages, it's just so small. But if you think about it in dollars, it's like, okay, well, you got $4,500 to work with, right? With the buying power of 150K account, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, you can still make very life-changing money, even though technically it's only a $4,500 account, right? So, we got news here in like 2 minutes, boys and girls. But that's what I would say, Meta, is as long as you got that buffer still intact, I think anything's fair game. I do think I'm not really an advocate for like leaving a whole bunch of profit above your buffer, just because it's like, I think a lot of people do that because they want to grow the account and scale it and scale it and scale it, which to each their own. I just feel like a lot of people, because I've done the same thing before, where it's like you just you have the profit in the account, but for whatever reason, the greed, the whatever, you just don't pay yourself, right? And then you end up blowing the account and you give all that profit back. It's like, that's probably the worst feeling. Like, you got funded, you activated the XFA, you did really well, made money on the accounts or whatever, and then it's like, you don't take a payout, losing streak hits, you start trying to get back to the high of the account that you had previously, and then it's like, just stuff can go downhill quick, and before you know it, you lose the account, you never even paid yourself, which... So I definitely think you got to pay yourself while the opportunity's there. But obviously up to each person to kind of find that balance of what they want to do and how they want to do it. Kind of interesting price here, boys and girls. So we saw this 15-minute close here on the previous 15-minute candle. Obviously, so far this candle, we're just dying. News just came out. That's what that big drop was. So we could indeed be heading for that draw that we mentioned. I didn't mark it up on this chart. I marked it up on the other monitor, but this 4-hour imbalance in this short-term sell side could be in play here. We'll find out. Marked out 647, which is the PM session low from yesterday. Well, here we go, man. News came out. We're dropping down. I like it, though, because I'm overall bullish. So when you're overall bullish, this is the stuff you want to see. You want to see the manipulation in the other direction. Now, it could be some time. We might have to be patient to set up the long, because this is a sharp move. It's fast. So we could accumulate for 30 minutes to an hour as well, but we'll see. Selling off, though, man. Selling off. Anybody catch these shorts? This would have been, let's see. I mean, maybe you take this inversion. That's kind of the only entry I see. Would have been playing an inversion setup here. We didn't. I was watching price at these highs. I was looking for SMT with ES, which we didn't get, unless I'm missing something. I guess you could say we got SMT with these little internal highs here on the 1 minute. Lower high here on ES. Come on. And then a higher high here on NQ. So there's an SMT here. I was looking at this high here, which we didn't get. But trading into this 4-hour imbalance now. Price is heavy as a fuck. Yeah, this is really your only entry opportunity, I believe. So you'd have been entering 5 minutes or so before the end of the hour. I don't know. I guess if you caught that, good, good job. But you'd have been trading right before the news, which is always, I was going to short that inverse, but it skyrocketed and filled me so high. Had to exit quick. Yo, you know what I did yesterday? I took a trade. I don't know if anybody had this issue. I took a trade on a Top Step X account with micros. It was like 10 micros, and everything was MNQ. I swear to God, everything was MNQ. But my P&L was moving like it was 10 mini contracts. I'm like, what the fuck? And like instantly it was like up 3K and then down 2.5K. And then it was like right back up to like break even. So I just closed the trade. I'm like, what the fuck? And then everything was fine after that. Like I refreshed and it was normal. But yeah, that happened to me yesterday morning with Top Step X. So that was kind of scary. Almost accidentally full ported. Ended up, by the time I closed it, it was like minus $22. So I ended up closing it like right at break even. Luckily. But the moment I saw that, I'm like, it was. I'm like, I froze for like 2 seconds. I'm like, what's going on right now? Thought I was just gonna watch myself get liquidated in an instant. But here, let's jump back up to look at these charts side by side again here. So this is what we look like. ES and Q trading into this 4-hour gap. If I were to, I guess, just zoom back out here. Like I said, overall, I am bullish. So I do think, or I want to see price eventually find support somewhere in this area of price. Now, could we see a deeper retracement? Possibly. Yeah, obviously, to get back to discount of this range would be trading below the weekly open. But if we're really bullish, I would really like to see this first PD array hold if we can. Especially given that we didn't manipulate this recent high. I'd be feeling a lot more bearish if we had done that with SMT or something, but guess we'll stay here. But yeah, looking for potential longs from this point, I would say. Obviously, want to wait for some confirmation, some displacement. Like I said, we could accumulate for 30 minutes to an hour as well. $10 a.m. news. A lot of times you might not get a reversal until like 10:30 or sometimes 11. So pretty normal, I would say. And yeah, only way to catch this would have been this inversion, in my opinion. Was unless there's some on a 30-second chart. Oops, shit. Nah. 15-second. What is this? Yeah, I mean you'd have been entering right at the news drop. So I got balls, but they ain't that big. Ganbox settings, yeah, it's just premium and discount, so it's just 0, 0.5, and 1. I have a couple of templates, but yeah, this is just a premium and discount. So red for premium and green for discount. Good 3-minute. Yeah, kind of same thing, the inversion. If that's what you're talking about. But again, you're entering right, literally the 3-minute candle here opens up right at the news, so. For me, that's just one of those where it's like, I'm never going to catch that. You know, maybe never say never. But for now, I'm going to say never. I'm not really ever trying to catch that. If anything, I'd like to have been in prior to the news and then just hold a risk-free position. Caught 102 points, Anthony. Congrats. We do have new week opening gap down here as well. That's what this white shaded area is on my chart. The new week opening gap. So could see a trade down there as well. I'm going to delete this sell side line for now. but definitely in a deep discount. Now, below midnight open, below equities open. In a hard time for PDRA, so let's rip it. What do you guys think, though? Are you guys anticipating a crash here? Early January, like after... I was kind of feeling after the inauguration. I feel like we could see price sell off pretty hard. The Congress did certify the vote yesterday. Hallelujah. And then, did you guys see this morning? I literally saw this, first thing I saw when I woke up was Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg made a post saying that they're going to stop censoring people. They're going to go to community notes, no fact checkers. I mean, this Trump effect is in full effect. I hope you guys are excited as I am. I think we actually might be back. I think the US of A might be back. There is previous day low below new week opening gap to... Yes. We got lots of lows. We got lots of lows and lots of highs everywhere. Jump back out here to the 1 hour. So, again, not necessarily trying to pick a bottom here. We could see price go as low as equilibrium. I mean, it could go as low as it could come all the way back down toward 21K again, but as long as it left that low intact overall, ideally, obviously, if you're bullish. But equilibrium of this range, you're looking at 21,440s, roughly. And then here on the daily, we have a volume imbalance. Obviously, that's the new week opening gap where that lines up. So lots of areas where we could find support. You know, unless the market dies, which can happen. Yeah, then we got Trudeau. He resigned yesterday. That is, I mean, it's almost like all these things are happening so quickly and easily that that's the only thing that makes me a little bit like, why does it feel like you guys remember how his first term went, right? Like, I feel like everything was an absolute like catfight for every little thing. And now it's like everything is just hunky-dory. Everything's just smooth as silk. I don't know. I'm just suspicious. I'm cynical about it. But I'm not mad about it. Let's go. I did see that Andrew Tate was running for prime minister. Oh, I saw it on Twitter. I don't know if that was a joke or if that's real, but I also saw somebody said that he owes like a bunch of taxes or something. So it's like, how could he run for prime minister if he owes all these taxes? I have no idea. But I don't doubt it. But you can't blame a guy. It's like, man, bro, if I didn't have to pay taxes, if we all didn't have to pay taxes, how happy would we be? Oh my God. We'd be so happy. We'd all be so rich. We just don't have to pay taxes. My God. God, that'd be so nice. I think I will actually, if Trump could make this country abolish federal income tax, replace it all with tariffs, I actually will put a canvas painting of him over my fireplace. And that would be fantastic. Oh, that'd be so nice. So, fingers crossed. But for now, I'm just going to write the check and cry. So macros over here as well, boys. And it's ending up being a pretty strong close. Obviously, we're going to close below the low on the 15-minute chart. At this point, at least that's how it looks. We got weekly open coming up. Down here about 5:30. I never checked the poll here. Let me see. Yeah, we got about almost 2/3 of the chat. We're feeling bullish today. It checks out. Market goes straight down. You know what I mean? That checks out. Oh, man. Well, boys, who's excited for ICT's mentorship 2025? And did you guys watch the was yesterday the first upload? I believe it was, wasn't it? And if so, did you watch it? I was gonna go watch it last night, and then I saw it was like 58 minutes long, and I'm like, maybe not. Oh, maybe I'll watch it today if I get bored. Just to keep up with the times, boys. You know what I'm saying? Just to see how things are going. What's the vibe like in 2025 for ICT? See if he makes any claims or not. I don't know. More than likely, probably will. But I haven't seen any Robbins Cup stuff really for 2025. He's been like last year this time he was just going crazy on X over Robbins Cup 2024. So maybe he's like, I don't want a replay of that. New year, new mentorship. It's the rule. It really is. I don't know how many. I just find it hard to like. Let me put it like this. And I haven't watched his first upload yet, so I have no idea what the scope of what he's trying to do is for this year. But I'm just sitting there, I'm like, bro, if let's say he goes through all 2025 or however long he plans on uploading this year, and he actually were to give out like, let's say some more trading models or concepts or whatever. I was sitting there last night. I'm just like, dude, there's no way that would be helpful. At least not for me. Maybe for somebody. I don't know. But like, I'm just like, there's already so many ways using smart money philosophies that like you can still view, get a bias, find the draw, find an entry. Like, there's already like too much for most people. That absolutely helps them overtrade. So I can't imagine more would be even more helpful. I mean, it's just like, that's almost another reason I'm hesitant to watch, because I'm just like, bro, if he does talk about something else, like I know I'm gonna I'll like subconsciously start looking for it in the chart, and it'll probably fuck with me. All right, guys, trading down now into the new week opening gap. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this 4-hour gap just to keep our chart clean. But we are in a deep discount right now. For today's price. In the weekly range, not quite yet, but we're well on our way at this point. And yeah, like I said, man, I really feel like the only way you could have been a participant would have been obviously the inversion up here prior to the news, and then either that or just entering short right at the news. So for anybody that has any FOMO with this move today, I would just say, like me, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I know that a lot of traders, a lot of ICT traders, like nobody's entering right at the news, boys and girls. So like, you gotta have some discernment for, okay, what is a setup that I actually missed? Like, okay, it met all my criteria. It gave me the entry model. I just didn't execute. That is what a mistrade is. But like, when you just see a big move on the chart, your first thought can't be, oh my God, I missed the move. How could I have caught it? Like, the reality is, if you actually have a legitimate plan for how you look for trades and enter trades, there's just going to be moves that happen where it's just not going to meet your plan and you're not going to get in. And unless your plan, like, and this isn't even a plan. If your plan is like, I'm just looking for every move possible, well, that's a shitty plan. You know what I mean? So for anybody that's struggling with any FOMO looking at this move, like beating yourself up right now, like I should have caught it. How could I have caught it? Yada, yada, yada. That's a slippery slope that will eventually lead to bad habits, because then you're going to be trying to catching everything off of a basis of FOMO and greed, which is not good. So there's just going to be moves that happen that, like, it's just not going to meet what you wanted to see, and that's fine. There's going to be an infinite number of trades to come, assuming that World War III doesn't start. But bearing that tragedy, you should be all right, boys. All right? He was saying people can fake some of these things, but he didn't clarify that in the video. He said people can fake some of these things? What do you mean, Chad? Fake some of what things? He's going to show more live trades, this mentorship, as far as I've heard. Which is also interesting because he's always prided himself on being the demo baller. I mean, I think part of that was like him trolling maybe, but he was always like, I'm only ever going to teach you guys on a demo basis. Like, that's actually been like one of his main staples. So switching to live only is, I mean, it's a switch up, but I do feel like as far as he must read some of the criticism online, because that is obviously the main thing people say. So I hope it goes well. I don't know. I think a lot of people are still kind of like rubbed the wrong way about the whole Robbins Cup thing. 2050 mentorship. I'm looking forward to that one. That one, you know, that one's gonna be better than 49. There is a discount on Top Step, yeah. Well, if you're asking in general, like if they're doing a sale, then no. I'll pin this though. Sorry. Usually it is pinned, but yeah, the link pinned at the top of the chat will give you an extra discount at checkout if you're eligible for your first month. But otherwise, yeah, no like New Year sales or anything like that going on. Unfortunately, boys, I was kind of hoping there would be, but also, genuine, actual question here. I am totally out of the loop. I just saw it last night and this morning on Twitter. What is going on with Apex? I heard that there was like a lawsuit or something. I just see people talking about in that lawsuit, they claimed that they're making like 10 to 15 million a month net profit. That's the only thing I've been seeing like people tweet about, but I'm like, what is going on with... I feel like I'm definitely missing some details of whatever is going on. Like I saw like Lanto tweeted about it, a couple other people. Let me see if I can find it. Like, but I figured I'd come and ask you guys. You guys would probably know more than me. But was that it? Was that just people talking about, people were just up in arms about how much money they make per month, or was that all it was? Top Step seems to be the only firm with no discounts. Yeah, they haven't done one literally in a year. I think their last you know, flash sale or discount or whatever was literally last New Year. I don't know. I get maybe I think it might be just them. I'm just speculating here. I don't know, but you know, all these other firms do discount in like flash sales like so freaking often that it's almost like a little bit cheesy in a way. So I almost wonder if part of it is just like, they're just like, if that's what all these other firms are going to do to try to like get people all the time, it's like, we're just not even going to do it. You know, which in turn, like, it probably is beneficial for people. And I'm not trying to like glaze Top Step or anything. Like, would I be happy with a sale? I wouldn't be mad about a sale. I mean, come on. Little end of the year excitement, beginning of the year excitement. You know, guys, I'm a human too. I like, get my hopes up, right? But like, it's definitely probably bad for some traders. You got to think, bro, how many people, because they got a discount, they came into the new year and they're just like, this is the year. I'm going to be disciplined this year. I'm going to do everything right. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to all these things that's going to help me be a profitable trader in 2025. I'm going to do all of them. And then it's like, oh, prop firm sale. Oh my God, here's my chance. I could get funded so fast. And even if I blow up the account, I could just get another one for a discount. And, people just went turn and burn mode, which is like, okay, so everything you said about being a disciplined trader in 2025, that's just great start. Great start. So, I don't know. Maybe that was the logic as well. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But so far right now, traded down into obviously new week opening gap. This imbalance. Taking out sell side. Here on ES and NQ. And we can see right now this reaction back to the upside. It's good. It's what you want to see. For anybody that's bullish. Kind of an awkward time window, if you will. We're coming up here on 10:30 here in the next 5 minutes. Looking here at the 5, you do have 5-minute change in the state of delivery here on 5-minute price. Here's our 15-minute yet to close, 4 minutes out. Realistically, we're probably going to see price close, leave a 15-minute imbalance up here above this candle. So you just got to stay patient. Like, this could just trade up into that 15-minute fair value gap and make another push for the low. So I'm not like in a hurry to jump in to chasing any longs right now, but definitely a nice little bounce from here so far. How far? Wow, that's 100 points. That's wild. Pretty wild. Breaker here on the 1 minute. Oops. So 15 and 30-minute candle closing, 2.5 minutes. And I'll say this, if we trade down in this next 15-minute candle, like into this PDRA, into this bullish breaker, and we obviously don't trade right away into the fair value gap, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I might try longing into that fair value gap and then using that fair value gap for removing risk. I want to see how this new 30-minute candle opens though. And 15-minute. We did trade up into a 5-minute imbalance. As you guys can see, you're kind of trapped in some PD arrays. I'm gonna give it another minute or two here. Get us into that new candle open. Yeah, pushing right now. Let's see if this ends up wicking up or not. I'm just avoiding. I don't want to long too early. I don't want to long and then we go run this low out one more time, or just melt all the way through it. Yeah, I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it looks like we're not showing a whole lot of respect for this breaker at the moment. See if we can change that or not. New candle here. So where my mind is kind of at right now is like, if this can react back up, maybe get back towards the high end of this breaker, I could see myself market executing into a long and putting stop below this low and just seeing if we get follow through to the upside. Otherwise, yeah, just be happy to filter out the loss if we're just going to keep going lower here. It's always a little bit tricky when you're in these like situations where you're in between two PD arrays. You know, if you're not like ultra confident on where that next draw is and you're in between these PD arrays, I don't know, for me at least, just like better to just kind of sit on my hands and just, instead of trying to pick one and hoping it works out over the other. You know, we're trading down from a 5-minute bearish fair value gap. Keep in mind, I would have more confidence in like just having market executed longs here. I would say like if we had traded down on that weekly range to the discount of the weekly range, which for anybody that's just joining, I'll pull that back up. So like in those situations when you're in alignment with the higher time frames in terms of your overall premium and discount, a little bit easier to take those quote unquote more risky, if you will. Like that long would have been, had a lot more conviction had we already traded down to these levels here. So hopefully that makes sense, but otherwise, yeah, happy to have filtered out that loss there. That would have been an L trying to long this breaker. Did not trade into the 15-minute fair value gap. We did leave one behind. But we did trade into a 5-minute, and we're staying heavy here, so. Filtered out the loss, man. That's good. Filtering out the loss is just as good as a win, right? Do we have SMT here? I'm looking. Oh, shit. We do have SMT with ES. ES not trading through this low yet. NQ has. Bullish SMT for the moment. Will it hold or nah? Let's find out. Trading below weekly open. In this NWOG, are we going to find support? Are we going to find any support? The $1 million question, boys. But I definitely like the area in which we're in if we can get something here. You know, I like even with today's range, we have relative equal highs up here as well. So this will be a beauty of a draw when we get it. I did not mark out any standard deviations. Let's go ahead and take a look there. I don't know. I'm looking for a manipulation leg. That's generally what you want to look for when you're looking for your projections. We'll try this. I don't want to mark out necessarily all of London, but like this whole leg is like, I view this like whole leg as the manipulation, if I'm being totally honest. Like this whole, from this low here, look at this. It was accumulation, right? And then is this your manipulation here? You could just project from here. I'm on the 5-minute chart. Let's try the 15, see if it looks a little bit more clear. Just not like the cleanest like manipulation leg, but projecting it out from this last move up to the high, projecting it down 2 to 2.5 literally lines up with new week opening gap. So it's all kind of checking the boxes there. Still got the SMT with ES. It's holding right now. Pretty strong 5-minute candle close though. Previous 5-minute candle close here on ES. Look at that. Inversing here. I don't think that looks great for the bulls. Unless it just quickly reversed and reclaimed that. But yeah, we get this strong close here on the 5. Inversing here. We close below weekly open. Retap weekly open right now. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see this keep flushing, but yeah, man, so far today from the open, we are down 300 points, almost 1.5% here on the NASDAQ. So let me see the old heat map. Where are we at? Interesting. This heat map doesn't look too... I was expecting to see bright red. Yo, can you guys hear me? My OBS is telling me I'm dropping some frames. We'll turn my bitrate down. I'll see if that helps. All right, looks like we're good now. First stream of the year, man. Gotta have some technical difficulties, right? Well, yeah, we're just staying pretty heavy here, so let me I have not taken any trades today for those of you guys that asked in the chat. My bad. No trades for me yet. Did filter out a trade that would have been a loss though, so that's the same as a win in my book, but let's do a little pulse check, boys and girls. Let me know how you guys are doing so far today. Green, red, or flat? I have not taken anything, so I am totally flat on the day for now. Might end up looking for something in PM session if this just keeps going the way that it's going. Still, I'll still hold out for 11 a.m. I'll hang out here for 20 minutes and just see if anything presents itself in the next 20 minutes. But obviously, yeah, if we just keep going lower here, there's not really much for me to do. The only thing, would have been if I was bearish, wanting to see even lower prices, would have been obviously previous 50-minute candle. That was your opportunity in that 5-minute. In that 5-minute fair value gap would have been your opportunity to get short if you're wanting and expecting to see lower prices. But here's what that trade would have looked like on the 5-minute. So like, it would have been interesting. Like if you're shorting from this fair value gap here on the 5-minute, you could view this potentially as a breakaway gap scenario. Whether or not some people would, in the moment, it's easy in hindsight to look at that and say, oh, a breakaway gap, right? But like in the moment, if you would have viewed it that way, I don't know. Especially with the 15-minute candle closing right when it did, leaving a gap there as well. But like, this is what your trade would have looked like if you're entering off that 5-minute fair value gap. So even if you're using this as a breakaway gap where you're not wanting to see price return up here, you're still looking at an 80-point stop loss. Like, then you got some of these brainiacs that are like, well, actually, it's not going to go past the second quadrant. Your stop loss could have been about 50%. The moment I'll tell you what, guys, I'll never do this, but the moment I put a stop loss here is going to be the exact moment we wick just past 50% and stop me out and then go. So I will never be doing this. I don't foresee myself ever putting my stop loss in a place like that, but what do I know? Yeah, heavy, huh? Project this leg out. Yeah. Yeah, so I would need to wait for some structure here, and it would have to obviously show me quite a bit in the next 20 minutes if I'm going to be expecting anything here before PM session. Let's check the we are finally in our discount of the weekly range, which was 430s. And now tapping into this higher time frame. Order block, breaker block, whichever you want to call it is fine with me. But for me, yeah, man, if I'm bullish, I'm personally wanting to see the low from January 2nd. If I'm bullish, I want to see that low be protected. And yeah, if we lose that low, man, there's room. There is room. Let me check the 3-day chart. Man. What's crazy is like you go as high as like the monthly chart, and just the wicks on this monthly chart are actually disgusting. I'll humor you guys, but you guys can go look like just go look at the wick on the August monthly candle for NASDAQ. It's just absolutely insane. But anywho, let me see, guys. We got 50%. Yeah, 57% of the chat is flat. So yeah, it sounds like a lot of us kind of just been watching price today. Definitely glad we filtered out that long and stayed patient. That would have been that loss would have been just over before we knew it. 24% green, 20% red. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is not bad market price action. I would just say it was just tricky with timing with the news. Like, your best opportunity would have been, like, the first thing I said when I got on here when we started the stream was on the 4-hour chart. I said I was bullish overall, which I still am on the higher time frames, but I did point out this 4-hour inefficiency that I thought we could draw into, and that was based on the previous price with the open behaving this way and wicking the high, trading back down. I definitely felt like that would have been the draw there in the short term. But yeah, like I said, not to beat a dead horse here. It's just your only opportunities were entering literally at the news or just before the news, and that's just usually problematic for me, to be honest. I usually end up being a victim of whatever manipulation the news has to offer, and then it goes, toward the draw afterward. So I'm not too mad about that. I really don't feel like I missed out on anything, if I'm being totally honest, just because of that fact. It just didn't. My plan doesn't really include trading right at red folder news events, so in my opinion, I don't chalk that up as a mistrade. I chalk that up as just that's one of those moves that I wasn't supposed to catch. But yeah, good to see price moving. Obviously not range bomb. For us perma bulls, it's anybody that's holding on to any bags in these markets probably prefer to see things expanding the other direction. We got, my goodness, look at this. We got Bitcoin down to 97, down 4%. XRP's down 5. I mean, everything's just bleeding out right now. But that's why I was a little surprised when I pulled up this heat map. Shop LG refrigerators. Close. Let me refresh this now, see if it looks any different. Like, bro, I see Nvidia, obviously the big one. Amazon, Tesla, we got some, obviously the big companies are red. Like, Nvidia's down bright red. Tesla's down 4%, Meta's down 3%. Like, I was expecting to honestly see more red than what I'm seeing. Google's at break even. Apple's break even. Microsoft break even. So, Nvidia and Tesla and Meta having their way with these markets right now this morning. Interesting. I mean, with Zuckerberg releasing that video, I honestly think that's super bullish for Meta. That's super bullish news in my opinion. I mean, I bought a whole damn check mark on Twitter in honor of Elon Musk. So now you got Zuckerberg coming around. Shit. Let me pull the chat box back up here quick. I asked you guys about the Apex lawsuit thing. I realized I think I started blabbing. I didn't even read what you guys said. If you guys said anything or not. Yeah, I saw here. Oh, so the lawsuit was about payout denials. Oh, it looks like you guys didn't say anything beyond what I saw on Twitter. Okay. Well, thanks for the heads up, guys. No, I did not take anything hyper. Crypto portfolio going so far. I mean, it's about the same. I mean, I'm sure it's down today. I would like to add, well, depending on what prices do here in the first couple quarters of the new year, bro, I would love to add 0.5 to 1 full Bitcoin this year. That'd be sick. But yeah, let's check it out. I don't know. It's down. Let me see how much it's down today. In the last 24 hours, it is down 9.8K. My portfolio is just red. Anyway. So yeah, we're all kind of bleeding out at the moment. 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock macro here. This could be setting up actually pretty nice. If this does what I think it maybe could do, which is displace up above this high, give us a bullish breaker block, potentially show us an inversion here. We'll see. Would like to see something though by right around 11. So if not, that's fine. I'll wait for maybe something in like lunch or PM. But yeah, if not, I'm not just gonna sit here and wait for it. Your boy needs to get into the gym, get some gains. Probably should go get some groceries as well. You can get some meat. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. You buy Bitcoin on a CEX, something exchange, and then transfer to a wallet. Yeah, I buy it on Coinbase. Buy it on Coinbase and then put it in cold storage. I do have some money in Coinbase now, just because I was messing around with buying and selling some stuff at the end of last year. And I'm leaving, so I just leave like small amounts of money sitting in the exchange. For those of you guys that were in crypto at all last cycle, like it got pretty scary. Like 21, 22, bro. You had regulated exchanges apps like shutting down, and obviously everybody knows about FTX, but even like Voyager, BlockFi was another one. Like you had these exchanges getting shut down or going bankrupt, and like people, even though it's US regulated and everything, like everybody lost their money. And I had all my money sitting in Coinbase at the time. I'm like, bro, that. So I hurried up, ordered up a ledger. For anybody that does get a ledger, never buy one from Amazon ever. Only buy one direct from Ledger. Anyway, so bought a ledger and threw everything on cold storage. It is kind of weird, the thought of like all your crypto and all your money in crypto is like literally on a freaking flash drive. And if you lose the seed phrase or the flash drive, your money's just gone in the ether. But yeah, definitely can't be keeping crypto on exchanges. What's the famous saying? Not your keys, not your crypto. Hossein, I don't know. I'm not your guy for for Apex. I exclusively use and partner with Top Step, so I wouldn't be able to answer your question. I only know like basics about like their rules and stuff. But to your question about another extra payment without price, yeah, I'm not familiar with what you're asking. You also need some milk. I do got some milk in the fridge. Not whole milk though. And not raw either. I drive a BMW 330iX M Sport. But I think my next vehicle will be a truck. You can recover if you lose the stick. Yeah, if you have the Nick, I believe if you have the seed phrase, right? If you have the seed phrase, you can still recover. You just need a new ledger. Is that right? What's up, Zach? No, I didn't take any trades yet. I might be taking one here though. This long may finally be rounding into form. We'll see. Just kind of sifting through the time frames, taking a peek at everything, seeing how everything looks. Trading back up in the new week opening gap. We did create an inversion here on the 5 minute, looks like. It wasn't like the most convincing close, but we did close above the high of the fair value gap. Trading now into this higher fair value gap up here. Retesting weekly open. Just staying patient. We are in the macro. New hourly candle in 3 minutes. Drop didn't give you a chance to enter. Yeah, same here. We entries would have been like right before or right at the news, so nothing there for me either. That's right, Chauvin. Well, that's just it. That's just it. Yeah. Might have to enter my truck era. But man, I am a sucker for BMW. They're quality, great customer service. I mean, just best customer service you're gonna find, guaranteed. So you know, they do a good job. It can be a trap. We'll wait for SMT. There you go. Yeah, could do that as well. The pin link, it's does it say 60%? 60% price slash. Okay, yeah. So that's what the I mean, that's what they refer to it as on their website. That's their price slash from last year. So yeah, whatever the price you see on the website is the same. That's just what they call it, the 60% price slash. But it will be an extra 20% off at checkout if you accept cookies and you're eligible. So if it's your first month. But yeah, sorry if that's a little confusing. I wasn't trying to fool you. Gotcha. Well, we're humming here. We're humming here, boys. Kind of weird on this 1 minute. We're not leaving any imbalances behind. For the most part, we left one back here. Down here at this inversion. You got to kind of go up a couple time frames to find a good bissy. So I'm kind of bouncing around here a little bit, just checking things out. Look at this 15-minute candle close. That's nice. 15-minute candle closure all the way back above weekly open, new week opening gap, back above this low. I like that we ran out this previous low here as well in the previous candle. Yeah, I'm going to try these longs here. I want to see if we can get a little bit of a pullback maybe. Maybe even leave behind a 5-minute fair value gap. Could use that as entry. It's going to be a lot of points, so I'm afraid. You can just take it back to midnight. I'm debating where I want to put my entry and stop loss here. If I'm going to take this long. I mean, I don't want to freaking... You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. This 5-minute. I keep liking this 5-minute chart. Like, I might just wait for this 5-minute fair value gap to form and then enter off of that. Stop below that 5-minute fair value gap candle. It makes me a little bit... You know, if we weren't so volatile, I maybe would extend my stop loss a little bit to include the inversion and this lower, just BPR in general. But if we can get this fair value gap to form, be left behind, I like the idea of longing here. Given that all these PD arrays would have to fail, obviously, like new week opening gap, we'd have to trade back below there. This fair value gap, obviously. And I'd be looking to just take it back to midnight open. So if we get this 5-minute fair value gap left open, that's where I'm going to grab a long entry there. Is what I'm thinking for the moment. We've got 2 minutes left on this candle. And the reason I'm opting to wait because like in the next 2 minutes, this candle could sell off and bring us all the way back down in here, right? So I could still look for longs down in there, but if this PD array is not going to actually form, you know, I don't want to take it before it forms. But we got everything else we need. I mean, we traded into discount of the range. And obviously now we're reclaiming some of these levels, new week opening gap, weekly open. Getting that displacement back up. I mean, how far we did trade down. Did we trade down to... Did we get down to -4 standard deviations? Just curious. We did. We did, boys. We absolutely did. Still 34 points. $50 seconds left. I'm going to go ahead and set a limit once this candle's about to close. How do you overcome not believing in yourself, especially in trading? That's a great question. But I think there's a deeper philosophical answer to that question. I don't think it really necessarily has anything to do with your trading, if I'm being honest. I think trading is just one of the ways that it comes out or manifests itself in your life. So not believing in yourself, not to get too deep here, but I'm going to set a limit here first, by the way, guys. All right. Yeah, not believing in yourself really stems from just a lack of confidence, which stems from essentially just not doing the things that you promised, like keeping the promises that you made yourself. So, you know, how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you say to yourself, you know, hey, I'm going to do X. So whether that's trading related, whether that's going to the gym, could be any number of things. If you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, you're actually training your mind to not trust you. Why would it trust you? Because you every time you say you're going to do something, you don't do it. So you say I'm going to stop over trading, I'm going to stop over leveraging, I'm going to stop revenge trading, I'm going to stop doing these things, but you fucking keep doing it. Of course your confidence is going to be shit, right? Why would you believe in yourself when you don't even follow through with what you said you were going to do? But I think that, again, that trickles into everything. So if you lack discipline in trading, you probably lack discipline in other areas of your life. And that's not just you specific, that's everybody. If you lack discipline in trading, you probably lack discipline in every other area too, to some degree. Diet, fitness, faith, I mean, your family, whatever category you want to put it on. So that's what I would believe. I believe that how you do anything is how you do everything. And nobody's perfect, but you got to focus on one thing at a time and do the best that you can. If you're actually doing the best that you can, you're actually giving your best effort, then you're never going to, you're going to make progress. And if you're making progress, you're going to be happy. You're going to gain confidence, gain self-esteem. We're the happiest when we're growing, right? You notice the times you're depressed is when you're like stagnant, sitting still, couch potato, not doing shit, not doing what you know you should be doing. Those are the times you feel like absolute shit, and you get depressed and you get anxious and all these things. So trading is really no different. Trading is just one of the ways that we can measure it. And you see some of these things come to light and rear their ugly head. Why not enter an FEG? You could enter in this inverse. I'll get stopped out if we get there. I'm bullish, and I just want to see these higher PD rates hold, I guess would be. And we're starting to find support back above weekly open, new week opening gap. So like weekly open, new week opening gap, this first PD right here, we inversed. Like, I just want to see this stay strong and keep moving up here, especially in the macro. If we don't get it, we don't get it. But that's the reason for it. If we weren't as volatile as we were, I'd probably have my stop below there just to make room for it. But I don't want a fucking 70-point stop loss. So, but yeah, I mean, if you got room for it on your account or you're trading micros, like, go for it, I guess. But yeah, that's the reason for that. So we'll see. So far, so good. So far, so good, boys. Come on now. And yeah, risk-free for me will probably be once we trade above these recent highs. I would have pulled ES up here as well. I'm watching ES as well. So if ES might beat NQ to that high. If we go there, it looks like it's kind of outpacing NQ at the moment a little bit. Yeah, so far so good. Nice reaction. Don't want to jinx it, but yeah, Wriggles said wait for SMT. Somebody else was going to wait for SMT as well. You can do that. You can wait for SMT if you want. I just like the setup forming in the macro, so if we get the SMT, odds are, we'll probably see, we could even see potentially the low get taken one more time between these assets, and then that could be looking like a lunch or PM setup at that point, right? So time is obviously part of the equation for me here. What? It's in the market maker's hands now. Nice closes though. 5-minute candle we entered off of. Nice wick down into about 50% of the gap. Come back up. Nice close above weekly open again. So yeah, so far so good. Macro is ending right now. So hopefully it doesn't get choppy, fingers crossed. But if it does, well, we'll know why. Refresh this here. Looking to see if like Nvidia and Meta and Amazon, Tesla are going to start bouncing back here or not. Nvidia. Holy shit. Yeah, Nvidia's not bouncing back at the moment. Back inside the gap here. Looks like it might be going straight for the old SL. Looking at this 30-minute chart here. Look at this shit. I'm not going to move my stop. I don't want to make it any bigger. But I'm eyeing up like 50% of this wick, and that's... My stop is above there. If we go to 50% of this 30-minute wick. All right. Back in green, boys. You son of a wick, you. You're kind of trading a bearish candle range theory. Is that CRT? right now to your stop loss. I guess I'm not trading candle range theory then, huh? Romeo probably never loses. You can't lose if you're always right. It might be early, yeah. It might be early. We'll see. I mean, candle close, 5-minute close, back above 50%. So we'll see if it wants to hold on. I'm just going to let it ride out. But it could be possible that I'm A, a session early, or B, a day early. But yeah, I mean, it did give me everything I wanted. You know, I told you guys that I'd have a little bit stronger conviction as well once we traded down to 50% of the weekly range, which we did. You know, then I felt like if I got something that I liked on the lower time frames as we traded back higher from this area, I would take it. So that's really all I'm doing. Following through with what I wanted to see, and it's giving me what I wanted to see. So I'm just pressing the button. Like I did say, I would not have been mad if we had a little bit more room for, you know, not so many points for a stop. But realistically speaking, agree or disagree, but realistically speaking, like, you want to be quickly validated, I would say, from your PD arrays that you're trading from. Like, how many PD arrays do you really want to see fail? So it's like, you know, if you put your stop all the way this low, which you could do, you know, if you got big nuts and you got the room for that, you could do that. But it's like, realistically, you get to these PD arrays failing, and it's like, well, shit, we're probably just going lower. So it's like, probability wise, I think if we're going higher, realistically, I believe this should hold. So I believe that if my stop loss does get hit, there's always a chance that it could tap here and go. But realistically, I think there's a higher chance that price just goes lower if we do get to my stop loss. So that's just kind of the way I'm viewing it right now. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, 33, and we'll call it 34-point stop. Got a nice, very nice risk reward. I mean, we're over, it's almost 1-6 if we do get this move back up to midnight open. That's what's crazy. It's like, you could even do, that's crazy. Even that's 1-3. Damn. Yeah, volatile. But win or lose, whatever happens here. I'd like to win, but what do you do? Romeo Glaze in 2025, yeah. Listen, hey. I wish I could be as good as some of these Twitter traders that never lose. That must be nice. Every trade you take is a winner? Shit. That must feel nice. Yeah, I don't know. We're kind of, I don't know. It's slow right now since we've left the macro. We've been just hovering at entry here for 10 minutes. And the more we chop or stay here, the more it's likely going to take place in a subsequent macro here a little later on. So, like, if we don't see, I mean, I want to see movement out of here probably in the next candle or two. But if we're kind of still chopping around here, these prices, I'll probably just take the trade off. But it would be nice if we could trade above this recent high. Go risk-free. See what happens from there. It's just crazy that this is over 100 points right here. And the risk-reward is definitely there. I think this candle closure is important. I want to see a good close here. We got 3 minutes. Love the long. I'm glad you love it, Andre. No, Wriggles is fine. Wriggles just said he was waiting for, well, I guess the CRT thing. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't really trade CRT. CRT, I think, is just another. I mean, it's just a term that he created to market on Twitter. Like, ain't nothing new under the sun. It's all liquidity and reversals. So, viewing the market in one singular candle as a range, how is that any different than being on the lower time frames and viewing a range? Like, it's all the same. But that's not the close I wanted here. And then last minute, we just sold right back off. Failing to stay above this weekly open. Yo out. That's a good question. And yes, I agree with you. That's why I said I wanted to see a strong close, or I might just take the trade off. I'm going to wait for this candle to close. I might take this trade off for a small loss or even right around break even, depending on where it closes. This candle in the next minute could go right to my stop loss. And if that's the case, it is what it is. But I agree with you. That's why I was saying, I took that entry in the previous macro. So like it should be fast. If it's not fast leaving the macro, it's probably not going to work out, to be totally honest with you. So I agree. I want it to be quick movements. That's the whole purpose of entering in a macro. But I'm going to let this candle close. Here's what my criteria, I guess, will be to hold on to this trade. I want to see a close of this candle preferably back above, I was going to say weekly open plus like this previous 5-minute candle high. But like if we lose weekly open, I just feel like it's likely we go lower. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I don't like when it just hangs around. It's got to be fast. Because I don't want to be in those trades where we just chop. Like, if we chop and then eventually play out, you know, that's a lot of fucking mental anguish that you have to endure still. So, sometimes it's not worth it. But so far, this hasn't really told me anything that, like, it's invalidated, you know? Other than it's taken a little bit. Price action-wise, we keep closing back above 50% of this fair value gap. Very nice close there. We close above weekly open. That's what I wanted to see to hold it. I do intend to go risk-free once we trade above this high here. And it looks like we will. So, you know, from there, we'll just ride it out. See if we can get some, get a buy-side delivery here. That'd be nice. But yeah, I really like that close on the 5-minute. Last 5 minutes here of the current 30-minute candle. Honestly, man, I really don't want to see this thing come back to my entry. But that's a bad habit. It's bad for me to be fucking around and thinking too much on my trade. Like, just let the chart work. Here we go. Okay. See all that whining I was doing? There we go. So we're risk-free now, boys. Yeah, now I would like to just see price continue. They got close. Look at these wicks. We'll see though. We're not out of the wood yet because obviously we're trading into this opposing imbalance here, this order block here. This order block is valid because of what it did, right? It went up, captured a 5-minute fair value gap, captured a high here, and then we had that sell-off. So this might be it right here, honestly. And if it's not ready, it's not ready. It is what it is. But yeah, exactly, Andre. Yeah, in as far as Yomet asked about like data and stuff, if I get like a delivery to my target, it kind of obviously depends trade to trade. There are some trades that are really fast, just depending on the circumstances. But yeah, more often than not, like in order to catch these like move, like if you're like say you're trading like a market maker buy model, right? And you are waiting for the move back for the original consolidation, which would be like, oh, this morning's price action up in here. Well, you know, how long is that going to take? It could be 30 minutes, could be an hour, could be 45 minutes, could be 15 minutes. It just depends on how fast market moves. But but from some of the data that I've actually tracked, yeah, a lot of those trades, if I've got bias correct and I hold for that target, like you're looking at generally right around 45 minutes to an hour, which perfectly aligns with macros, right? Like you entered in a macro, you held that move for a duration of most of an hour, and then it's like by that next macro, that could be when that move completes. So it all kind of aligns the same as far as that goes. But like I also said before, it's like we're at these discounted levels where you could see price bounce and you could long. But I'm by no means going to be surprised either if we just accumulate more so for the rest of the morning, accumulate for even the rest of the day. I don't know. Like we could accumulate, you know, after a big expansion like this, it isn't like super often you get like just a V-shaped recovery. We're in it, obviously, right now, in case that were to be the case. And we're also not demanding for price to go take out these highs yet either. At least I'm not. So I just view like this could be low-hanging fruit. If we are like actually super bearish, well, then you're kind of going to start to expect these bearish PD rates to start to fail. And obviously we're kind of in some trapped order flow here, if you will, between these PD rays. You've got bearish imbalance here to the left. You've got this bearish order block, and we're trading up from a bullish imbalance. This is a BPR right here. So you could still make a case for lower. Definitely not naive to that at all. Trump is speaking right now? No way. $205 billion liquidated from crypto market in the past 60 minutes. That was 42 minutes ago. Nice. Where do I see Trump speaking? I see this. President-elect Trump to announce $20 billion investment to build new data centers in the United States. Do I gotta go on YouTube? Oh, fuck. All right, guys. I guess I have that break even. Just like that. So, yeah, we traded up. Took this high. Traded into this order block. Removed risk. We're right back at entry. So, I don't know, man. It's probably going to be... Obviously, it's not ready yet, right? So, if we were super bullish and going to get this move up, we wouldn't have stopped here. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm glad I took an attempt at it. I waited. I wanted to see certain things happen. They did. I executed. I managed the trade well. And especially if it avoids a loss too, even kind of just a bonus there. So yeah, I'm not too mad about any of that. That's all pretty good as far as I'm concerned. So filtered out a loss. That's as good as a win. Took one trade here. Ended up getting stopped at break even. So yeah, that's that, man. Not too shabby. Could be worse, right? And then yeah, this long or this short here in the morning, I wouldn't have a whole lot of FOMO with that, me personally. If you want to have FOMO, I mean, be my guest, I guess. But I would just say with the news and everything that aligned with that, that's not really something that I think should be a part of anyone's trading plan on a regular basis. But to each their own, boys and girls. Appreciate you guys for showing up. Like the stream before you head out. I will be live tomorrow. Same time, same place. Tomorrow morning, we have ADP non-farm pre-market. Unemployment claims Wednesday, obviously due to Thursday being a closed market day for the day of mourning. And then NFP on Friday, guys. So, yeah, I'll be live tomorrow morning. Right here, boys and girls. Enjoy the rest of your, what day is it today? Tuesday, January 7th. Appreciate you guys. And, hey, I'll see you crazy cats tomorrow.
Our trade sits at his desk, coffee in hand. The NASDAQ charts on his screen, he's in command. He's a day trader, chasing dollars and dreams. Using ICT concepts, he's got some tricks up his sleeves. From Fibonacci retracements to volume spread analysis, Tyler knows the smart money, he's gaining an advantage. He watches the market like a hawk in the sky. With every tick and every turn, he's catching the high. Running with the smart money, kicking up dust. Tyler trades a day trader you can trust. Dancing with the bulls, riding with the bears, making moves, taking risks, he's a millionaire. With the bulls, riding with the bears, making moves, taking risks, he's a millionaire.